And again, still another addendum to the previous video. So, a prominent theory in this channel since long ago, something that I repeat from time to time, but I never kind of like, go all in with that. I never like, commit to this theory actually. And maybe it's one of the problems that like that some kind of tales are left unhinged. So is that you can that but it's featured a lot in this channel, and even before this channel, like in other outlets. That the bicycle is not symmetrical. So it's impossible for me to do anything like at all to the models in the streets. And this is this idea was featured long ago, but the main problem is that I didn't take it like all the way because I didn't know what to do. According to this theory, the bicycle is it's not symmetrical. It's like אבן יער ומספריים, like the rock paper scissors, and that actually the direction of the rock paper scissors was reversed during the time of my predecessor during the 1980s as a way to save the Titan females from their subjugators. So according to this theory, what actually happens is that all the goons in the Shabak and the Mossad in the other places as well all over the world, they receive their they are subjected to the bicycle terror of Titan females, presumably not all Titan females, because there can be other groups of Titan females that were either too young back in the day, or even didn't born, or didn't arrive from Venus, and I don't know what's their place in the whole in this system. But according to the theory, and it's kind of like it's an old theory. The older Titans that were subjugated by the Israelis actually received the huge power by my predecessor. So in the fact that they cannot be abused no more by the Israelis, and they actually are subjected to my bicycle, according to the theory. And the Israelis, in kind of like a rock paper scissors mechanism, they can torture me if they want, and they always want to do it. So according to this method, according to this system, of course, what should be expected from the and these Titans that were freed and received this power, presumably they didn't even most of them actually as is depicted in the Home Alone scenario that I described so many times. Even today I actually mentioned it. According to this theory, they actually left Israel because why should they? Because they can exercise their powers from abroad, and why should they stay in this shithole? Obviously they left. Why should they stay here? This is a shithole. So they left Israel to live the life of leisure abroad. Of course, they have monopoly on producing the drug. The tea, of course, it's not, and so they sell it receive ton of money, and they are also, the intelligence services of the world, including the Israelis, cannot hurt them at all, and and the only thing that they need is my own tea, because as stated many times, Titan females cannot produce tea without the male tea, and there are no more males, so they just need to get it from me. So how do they do it? They send their goons to take it forcibly from me. So, the question is, obviously, so according to, so what, should logically happen in this scenario is that I will, not cooperate with that and not allow them to continue, right? So how do they prevent that? So easily, just by, not telling me who I am and keeping me in darkness all my life, and make sure that the goons of the Shabak are torturing me all my life. So I will not be able to know how to use the bicycle mechanism in order to stop this tyranny. So now, presumably, finally we've kind of after all this kind of setup with the hookah, we've reached to a point that maybe they are a little bit of maybe it affects them to some extent. So so now they I get all sorts of messages that they will maybe I don't know, stop giving the news to the Israelis or things like that. So and it's kind of funny because I mean, I mean, do you really expect them to be alive like now? I mean, honestly, anyone in the world like thinks that these creatures will have many like days in Earth? Like I mean, seriously. Like I mean, do you think that I mean something on Earth awaits them besides, I mean, worms? At the best case scenario, worms are going to eat them from the inside until they're dead. And the worst, it seems much worse than worms, because the cherubs have in their possession things tremendously more horrible than worms. Worms are just the beginning of the menu. You know what kind of life forms do we know how to prepare in your bodies, dear sisters? Worms is your problem? Fasting is your problem? Do you really, I mean, do you think that fasting is the issue here? Like it's not comfortable to you that you cannot eat because you have worms in your body? You know what awaits you? Do you know what what abilities do we have to produce in your own bodies? Worms are your body. I mean, you don't know what's coming. You are going to miss the worms so much. You have no idea what's going to happen. Worms, I am an expert on life forms. Worms are just, I mean, the first course in a very, very long menu. Very long menu. You're going to meet things so much more complicated and horrible than worms. I would rather say you're going to not only envy yourselves at the time that only worms crept in your body, but you're going to envy people that you see in alien movies. Because the things that a cherub can produce inside your bodies are so much more horrible than, the face, crawler, I mean, a face hugger or any kind of, the xenomorph or all the other aliens. These are little puppies compared to what we know. Just to remind you, I've already created in this room bacteria and insects, pretty big, that are resistant to fire and are made of metal. And this is only the beginning. Dear sisters, worms and fasting is nothing compared to what awaits you. Nothing. Worms.